So in our previous session we have covered about the WebDriver interface and some of the browser commands. Okay, so in today's session we'll be looking into browser navigation commands, right? And then what is web element and how to identify the web element in an HTML page. And to identify the web elements, some of the plugins will be there in uh, Mozilla browser and some other browsers. So we will look into all of them. Okay, so the first thing is, let us look at browser navigation commands. So what do you mean by browser navigation? Okay, for example, I am going to google.com, and if I click on some link here, if I click on advertising, it has moved to the different page. If I want to come back to the previous page in my web browser, okay, I'm clicking on this left arrow button, right? That is the back button. And then if you want to again move to the same page, you can always click the forward button. So this is the backward button and this is the forward button. So you can these backward and forward buttons are uh, uh, embedded into our Selenium WebDriver scripts, and we have some commands which will take care of that. Okay, because whatever buttons which are available here, we may not be able to click them on the browsers, but whatever page is HTML page is displaying, we will be able to identify these elements. So in the browser, whatever the buttons or links or any other things are there, we will be able to uh, use those particular options using certain commands. So for that we have the navigation commands. Let me create one more class. So browser navigation. Okay, so I will copy the same thing. I will copy this much WebDriver, and I can directly use this. I will not use the comparison. You can directly use this because initially we'll be working with Firefox driver. That's why I am going to copy that. So that makes sense, I feel, right? So this makes sense, right? So I'm creating a web driver, right? Driver and browser. Okay, this I will remove. That's not required initially. So I have created a browser object for the Firefox driver. Now, so what I will do, driver dot get, right? So driver dot get, and I will enter google.com, and then once once this page is loading, for the time being, okay, I will not click on that. I will take the other URL. So there is one more command. Instead of get, you can use driver dot navigate dot to. Okay, we will see that navigate constructor, and I am giving this, right? So what is this navigate, right? Driver dot navigate. So we have to go to our Java doc, right? And we should understand what that navigate will do. So I will go to my WebDriver interface. So in WebDriver interface, you can see here there is a nested interface, that is WebDriver.navigation. Okay, there is a nested interface, that is WebDriver.navigation. That nested interface has some methods. We will look into those methods, right? So yeah, I'm getting some background noise. I think Shashi, right? So Shashi, can you mute yourself? If you have any doubts, you can unmute and ask me. Right? So it has some methods. We will look into those methods. Right? So that's what I am doing it here. Driver.navigate. Right? So WebDriver.navigate. This is the constructor, and then it will be calling these methods. Okay. So enclosing interfaces is the WebDriver, and then you can see here I have a method that is navigate, an abstraction allowing the driver to access the browser's history and to navigate to a given URL. So if you go to this particular method, that is a method, right? So driver dot navigate is a method. So if you go to this method, you can see here this method returns the instance of WebDriver dot navigation. Correct? So it returns the instance of WebDriver.navigation, and that's why it has uh, you know the return type as WebDriver.navigation. So since it is returning the object of or instance of WebDriver.navigation, I can directly use like this. Okay, driver.navigate dot to. Otherwise, I can split this into. Okay, I can split this into, right? So WebDriver dot navigation, right, n is equal to, like this I have to do, right? But okay, we cannot convert from void to WebDriver dot navigation, so that's why we will directly use that. Okay, you can split that and you can store that particular, you know uh, particular return type into an object, that is WebDriver.navigation object, but that's of no use. I can use the dot operator. This dot operator is used to call the functions of that particular class. So which class it is? WebDriver.navigation dot to. So if I use dot, it will give me all the functions of the navigate. You can see here back, forward, right, and to is accepting a string, and it also accepts an URL, and then uh, there is one more, that is refresh. Okay, you can see here all those methods are there here. So Java net URL, that is also one type of argument it accepts. So usually we will pass it as strings. Okay, so dot to, and then I will be passing this this URL. Where is that? Okay, this URL. Okay, so let us see. Once it loads the google.com, it should go to the advertising page. That's what we are trying to do here. So let me run this. So it opens up the browser, and then you can see here, from there it is going to the advertising page. Now if I want to go back to the previous page, I have the method, right, driver dot navigate dot back. Okay, so driver dot navigate dot back will go back to the google.com page, and then you have driver dot navigate dot forward. Okay, so this will take you to the advertising page again, means I'm going back and forth. And if you want to refresh, okay, if you want to refresh the particular page, what you can do, you can write driver dot navigate dot refresh. Okay, it will refresh the page, in the sense this button. Well, if you click this, it reloads or refresh the page, right? Or you can consider F5, right? So that will refresh the page, so that will refresh. So what I will do, just for the demonstration, I will add some sleep here, thread dot sleep. Okay, don't use thread dot sleep always. So just for our convenience we should use it, but this is not a standard coding practice. We have other types of wait in WebDriver. We will look into them just for the time being, or if you want to wait for some 5 seconds, I'm giving 5 seconds, so we can use thread.sleep, but don't include that in your regular code, right? So let me run this. You can see here it has gone to advertising, and it will come back to google.com, and then once again it will go back to advertising. and it refreshed the page. It waits for 5 seconds. You can see here it has reloaded, in the sense the page has been refreshed. So if you want to perform those operations of the browser, you can use the navigate command. Okay, any doubts in the navigate command? Guys, any doubts in the browser navigation commands?
No.
No, right? So frequently, back and forward we may not use. We may use refresh where as and when we require that, and we may use navigate to. Okay, because driver dot get, what it will do, it will open a new instance of the browser. But if from one page to another page, if you want to navigate, you can use driver dot navigate to function. Okay, so that's about browser navigation commands. So those are also very important commands, and it's all, WebDriver is all about having the commands which are given by the uh, Selenium HQ or Selenium library. We should use each one of them to perform some operations or to perform the testing. Okay, so that's about navigation commands. And then we will look into web element. Okay, so there is a interface in WebDriver that is called web element. Let me go to this page first. You can see here somewhere it is returning web element. Okay, so driver dot right, find element, this is returning web element. We will see what why that is returning web element and other things, right? uh, Right. So you can see here web element is an interface. So what do you mean by a web element first? We should, before going to this interface, in general, what do you mean by a web element? Okay. So the web element represents the HTML element. So what is an HTML element? If uh, go to the entire page source, I will explain you what exactly it is, right? So every element will have a tag. Okay, so you can see here HTML is one tag, head, body, right, division, and this is called as anchor tag for links. And if you want to have some input fields and other things, it has input tag. Like that, you will be having checkboxes, drop down buttons. Okay, you can see here these are the drop downs. Somewhere you will get drop down also. In this page it is not there. So all those are called web elements. So if we want to perform some operation on these web elements, we need to first identify these web elements. Okay, so how will you identify these web elements? That is the first question. And second question is, whenever you are trying to identify any web element, right, there are certain functions which will return the web element, and you should work on those particular web elements which are written. So to identify the web element, first we need to understand, okay, if this is one page, first I have to identify this element to perform or to enter some data. Okay, so if you want to enter some data, or if you want to click on these buttons, or if you want to click on these links, right, so first I need to identify this. I need to identify this particular element. You can call this as web element. Identify that, and then later on you perform any operation you want to perform on those particular web elements. Okay, so to identify the web elements, we have a method. Okay, we have a method that is called find element and find elements. So find element will be used to find a single element, and find elements will be used to find the set of elements or multiple elements, okay, of similar type. So these are no, two methods which are given by WebDriver only. You can see here WebDriver. It has find element method, okay, and find elements method. And so these two methods, find element, you can see here, find element, we'll see what is this by. Okay, so find the first element using the given method. So you can call this, if you go to the page source, right, if this is the entire page source, in the page source, if I am looking for the body, okay, there might be n number of body with ID GSR, then it will find that element, whichever is first occurrence, find element will find that. So every web element will be having some attributes, you can call them, like ID, class, and then you will be having the name for the element, right, and all those things. So they will be, most of the times they will be unique. Okay, so ID and other things, most of the times they will be unique. If there is an if you have multiple elements with same ID, then there are other ways of identifying it. We will look into that in a later stage. So one thing is, in HTML every element will be having its own ID, and then it will be having it a class like that. So some of the attributes will be there, and using those attributes we should identify the element. So the find element method, okay, find element method will find the element or return the element which occurs first in the entire HTML document. Okay, this is called document object model, DOM. Okay, you will entire whatever source code you are looking at here, it is called as DOM, DOM. Okay, so in the document object model, in the DOM, whichever is the first occurrence, okay, so that first occurrence element will be returned. So that's why it is returning a web element. So what do you mean by web element? You can see here, returns the first matching element on the current page. So if it is returning a HTML element, that should be stored in some element class or element interface. That's why they have created web element interface. It has super interfaces like search context and take screenshot. We will see that later. And remote web element is a class which will be implementing this particular web element interface. Okay, so whenever your find element method returns an element found in the document object model, that is called, that will be stored in an interface called web element. Okay, so that is stored in web element. Okay, so how do we find that element and how do we perform some operations on those elements? We will look at them one by one, right? So the first thing is, let me create one more class because I want you guys to go through each one of them. Element locators, okay, and then I will use the same thing, up to google.com. Okay, but don't copy paste like what I am doing. You don't copy paste until you get some hands-on with these things. So there are two things, that's why it's giving me error message, right? Two main methods. So what I am doing, I'm going to google.com. Now I want to identify this element. To identify this element, right, every browser will give you inspect element option. Every browser will give you inspect element option. You click on this inspect element option, that will right you highlight that element and right click and go to inspect element. That will directly take you to that particular element in the DOM or in the HTML page. Okay, that source code you can see here, it's an input field which has ID, it has class, okay, and it has some name. You can see the name here, okay, name is equal to Q, right? So like that many attributes will be there. So what you need to do, okay, you need to first identify this element. To identify the element, I have to identify using different attributes which are available. Okay, for that let me click on this by class. Okay, So this find element will accept by class as the parameter. It accepts the by reference variable as the or by object as the parameter, right? So you can see here. So this is a Java concept. It is like int I. Okay, it was accepting integer as the parameter. Now it is accepting a by class object as the parameter. Okay, so we have to understand about the by class. So this is class by. Okay, what this class by will do? This class by has nested classes like by id, by name, by class name. So what are these id, name and class name? These are nested classes. If you go inside those nested classes, it will be having you can see here find element search context. It will search for that particular element in the DOM. Okay, so with the help of id, if it is by id, then it is with the help of id. If it is by class name, then it will be with the help of class name. It is going to search that. So it accepts by as the parameter. It accepts by reference variable or by object as the parameter, and internally it performs all the operation and it will return the web element. Okay, so whatever the value you are passing inside this by should be proper and it should have a unique element in the DOM, or it should have an unique element in the in the entire HTML page. Okay, so how will I do that? As I have told you, you can see here, go to inspect element and then it has id. So that's why it is asking by id, by the element attribute id, or by class name. You can see here, this is the class name, that is by class name. Okay, so by dot by class name, and you can see here it has name, so it will give me one more nested class, that is by name. Okay, so these are all static classes, that's why by dot by name, all those are all static classes. Okay, so that's why directly I can access them, that's why they are giving in this way, by dot by link text. What do you mean by link text? What do you mean by a link in a web element? These are all links. A link will be having a anchor tag a. So whichever element will be having anchor tag, that is called a link text. Okay, so these are different ways of locating the element. Okay, using different attributes I will be locating the element. By tag name, what is the tag name? If it is input, then it's a input tag name. Okay, if it is a link, then it will be anchor tag, that is a. If it is a division, you can see here div, that is also one tag. If it is a button, so it might be having button, or it depends on how they have implemented. So if it is an image, you can see here, you will be having some image link. I think you don't have image in this page, right? So there will be some images also, so it will be having a tag like img. Okay, so any doubts here in these web elements and other things? Before we try to identify that, no doubts, right? Okay, so now what we will do, we will write our next syntax, that is identifying this particular element. Okay, so I will not recommend you to go for this inspect element. We have one plugin, that is Firebug. Okay, so this Firebug will take you to the entire HTML. Any element if you want to identify, you just click on this arrow, and take your cursor there. It will take you to that particular element. If you want to identify these images, link, it will take you to that particular link. Okay, so this is the text of that particular element. You can see here every element will be having an open brace, and then the element will be closed with a forward slash and the tag name. So between that, if you have any text, that is the text of the element. Okay, in case of links, you have that text here, right? So that should also be very clear. So how will you install this Firebug? Okay, so how will you install this Firebug? Go to your add-ons. Okay, go to your add-ons, and then you can search all add-ons. Okay, or get add-ons. If you go to get add-ons, you have to search for Firebug. You have to search for Firebug. uh, I already installed that, that's why it is not giving me that option. If you can go here extensions, you can see here this is the Firebug. Okay, so you install that Firebug, and then once you restart your browser, you will get an icon here. You are getting an icon here. So once that is once you get that, you right click, and then you will get an option inspect element with Firebug. I always recommend you guys to inspect the element with Firebug because it is very neat and clean, and you have some other options. You can go to CSS and other things. And if you click on this, any element you go, even in normal inspect element also, this arrow is there. Why we are recommending Firebug is we have one more fire path, that is for identifying X path. Okay, before we move to X path, I am just explaining. I am just expecting you guys to have the Firebug in your browser. Okay, always prefer to have Firebug. Now let us identify this element. So how will you identify this element with Firebug? It has an ID lst-ib. So let me go here, and then let me write driver dot find element. Find element method will be associated with the driver object because it is a method of WebDriver interface. That's why I'm getting that. So once I select that, okay, so I don't want you guys to directly select until you write find element. Okay, you can see here they have used the naming convention. Since it's a method, it starts with smaller case, and then if you have two different letters, it has element. So every command will be like this only. Every command will be having this notation. Okay, so that's why it is find element, and then you can use by dot. Okay, by dot, then you will get these methods. Okay, by dot id, I will select by dot id, that is the by dot method. Okay, so what are the methods are there? Okay, by id, you can see here this is one method by id. So I am selecting that. Once you add by, directly with the name of the class I am accessing these methods, because these methods are static. These methods are static and I don't have to create the object for those methods. By dot id, and what id expects? Id expects a string as an argument. So since this expects a string as an argument, okay, so you can directly see here, since this expect string as an argument, I will be passing that id of this particular field. Okay, so I will be passing that, and then right, this is what this find element will return. It will return a web element. This element, this is the element it is going to return. So I will store that in web element. Okay, since this is returning a web element, I will be storing that inside a web element. You can store like this. Okay, so you have to import web element here. Import openqa.selenium.web element, right? So that's correct, right? If you can go to our find element is returning, find a single element, it is returning or modifier and type is web element. That's why web element interface, or it is returning actual element. That's why I'm storing that inside a web element. Okay. So once you get this element, so you should perform some operations on these elements. Okay. So if you go here, you can see here there are different methods which are available to perform the operation. One is clear, another one is click, okay, another one is get attribute, get the value of the given attribute of the element, get CSS value, okay, the CSS property, CSS in the sense cascading style sheets in HTML, get this value, or get location of the element like that, okay, or get text, or send keys. This send keys is used to send the character sequence. It is nothing but a string to that particular element. If you are working on an input field, you need to use send keys method to to type the string inside this particular field. You are understanding this? So once you get the web element, you should perform some of the operations on that particular element. So this web element interface has these methods. So depends on what type of element you are, you want to perform operation, you have different methods. So since our first element, whatever we are trying to do here is text box, okay, I am trying to send some characters inside that. I want to type something inside this. Okay, so how will I do that? I will do like e. So this is the reference variable. So in this reference variable I have my web element. If you want to see that, I will just display e. Okay, and what I will do, e dot. If you put e dot, so dot is very important to access any methods. We have used this dot operator. So e dot, you will get send keys. Just type yes, it will give you send keys. Select that, and then I will type Selenium. Okay, so since it is returning the web element, I am storing that, and using that reference variable or using that object, I am calling different methods of that particular class, and then I am passing whatever arguments which are required. Since I am working on an input field, I am passing the string here. Let me run this. I'm sorry. So you can see here it has input that string, that is Selenium, and if you can see our output, it is giving me, right, Firefox driver, Firefox on XP, and this is the element ID. I am identifying with ID, that's why it is giving me that element reference. So that's about find element by ID. So what I can do, instead of writing or storing this particular thing in a web element, I can even write like this: driver dot find element by, I will use one more method, okay, by name. Okay, it has a name also. I will use name is q here, name is q. Where is that? Name is q. So I will use by dot name. Okay, so what is the name? That is q, and you can see here it is returning the web element. Since it is returning the web element, if I enter dot, it will give me all the methods of that particular element, okay, or of that particular object. How exactly it is? Driver is one object, and then when I put dot, I will get all the methods of driver, and if this method is returning any object, if this method is returning some object, then I can directly use dot to get the elements. Okay, so since by dot name, okay, I will take name. So by dot name is returning the object that is input field. So this method is returning the object. I will use a dot, and then I will get all the operations which needs to be performed on that element. So it is similar to e dot. Instead of I am storing the element, I don't have to store the element every time. I can put that in one single line. Dot. Okay. So what I will do, send keys, and then Selenium WebDriver. So let me comment out this first. Okay, so and I am doing this. Okay, so even this will also perform the same thing like e dot. Any doubts here in this? Not, it's not always required to store in the web element. Okay, so if you put dot operator up to here, it will return the web element object, and then put dot, it will call all the methods of the web element. Any doubts here in this step?
So, yeah, when do you prefer the first one?
Sorry?
When do you prefer storing an element first?
No, if you want to reuse this element in some other steps or some other functions, or if you want to pass that element, for example, I am storing this here, okay, and I am storing this here, and I want to pass this particular element to some other function, and then I want to continue my operation, then you can use that. Wherever there is a reusability of this element, then you use that. Otherwise, you don't have to use that.
Okay, so if there are repetitive operations, then we should store.
We should store. And if I have one more, that is find elements. If it is find elements, then I have to store it in a list. That time I will be using a list of web elements. Okay, but single element, I always prefer, if it is not repetitive, or if you are not able to, or if you don't perform any operation on that particular element again, then don't store this. Okay, instead of directly you can execute here.
Okay.
Okay, so that's fine, right? That's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pradeep, any doubts?
Doubts.
Sorry.
No.
No doubts,
No.
right? Okay. So let me run this. So if I run this, it will perform the same operation. It is going to identify that element with name now. So initially we have identified with, I think, okay, initially we have identified with ID. Now I am identifying that with name. Okay, so that's about find element by name, right? So the next operation is, right, or the next command is identifying the element. Okay, or if you want to clear whatever you have entered, you can use clear. Instead of send keys, you can use clear. Dot clear. Okay, dot clear, it will clear that input field. Okay, so I may not be able to demonstrate, because once we enter something, it is going to some other page, and the entire element, okay, it has queue. The okay, I will demonstrate that.
Type something first and then clear and then type something.
Yeah, let me do that. Sorry, I will clear this. So I will use find element. First we need to identify, because you can see here what exactly is happening is, once I enter, okay, Selenium, it looks like it is going to the new page, but we need to identify this element also. If it has same input ID and other things, that's fine. Sometimes it might change dynamically. That time we need to find that element. So now it is finding ID only. So what I will do, I will use this first. Okay, e dot selenium, and then with the name I will clear dot clear. Okay, and then I will identify with class name. Class is GSFI. Let me see what is the class here. Here the class is just a moment. Here the class is GSFI, and once I enter also it will give me the class as GSFI. Okay, so I will enter again with GSFI dot find element by dot class name. Okay, that's the class name. And what is the class name? GSFI dot send keys something testing. Okay, so let us try this execution. So I am using three different locators. One is ID, another one is name, and another one is class name. So let us run this. So I have entered Selenium. Okay, so you're able to follow this, or shall I give the wait time here? So until that clears, you need to have a wait time. So let me give the wait time here. Sleep. Okay, some 10 seconds I will give so that there is a delay, sufficient delay. Let us run this again. Now it will clear that. After 10 seconds it will clear that field. Okay, so after 10 seconds it will enter testing. Okay, so that's how we can use all these operations. So that's about the name, class name and ID. We have some other locators. Let me go to that. So by ID, and we have by link text. So what do you mean by link text? If you go to any page, right? So if you go to any page, I will go to google.com. If you go to any page, you can see here, this is one link, right? This is one link. So earlier what I did, I have not clicked on this advertising. I have taken the URL. Now what I will do, I will use, or I will click on this advertising. So how will I do that? Let me take the same browser navigation. Instead of this, I will do driver dot find element by dot link text. So what is the link text here? What is the link text? That is advertising. So let me take that name dot. Here I will not send any keys because it is not input. I will not send any keys here, but I have to click on this particular link. Is it correct? Because each and every element you need to perform some different operations, either entering some value or clicking on something. Okay, so now on the link I have to click. I should not send any elements. If you try to send elements to the link, I don't think so that works out. Okay, so you should click. So for that I have click method. Okay, in the web element, once it returns the web element, okay, by link text, this returns the web element. This has a method dot click. So you need to click on that particular web element because it is a link. So it doesn't make any sense to pass some values inside that field. That's why I am clicking. I have to click on this. That's how the operation of that particular web element. So I am having a method that is click. So what this method will do, if I click on this, click this element. If this causes a new page to load, you should discard all references to this element, and any further operations performed on this element will throw a stale element reference exception. In the sense, once you click on this particular link, if it is going to the next page, then if you try to click on the same link, then it's a stale element because the page has been refreshed, and then in the new page that element reference will not be there. That is called stale element. Okay, so that's the operation of click, right? So you will get stale element exception if you try to find that element in the new page. Okay, so let me run this. You can see here it has clicked on advertisers. Okay, so if in this page also if you have advertisers, okay, it is not possible. If in the same page if you have advertisers and if you try to click or use the same element reference, that is not possible. That's what they are saying. Okay, that is called stale element exception. Okay, or to demonstrate that, let me try this web driver web element e is equal to driver dot advertising and then e dot click. Okay, so e dot click, and then I am navigating back from there, and then I will try to click again with the same element. I am not identifying that element, but I will try to click on the same element. Let us run this again and check whether it will give me stale element exception or not as per the definition. Ideally it should give. So you are understanding this, right? I am clicking and then I am coming back to the original page and I am trying to click on the advertisers again. You can see here, once the page has been refreshed, okay, it is clicking. That should not happen. Anyway, I will give a demonstration on that stale element exception. But ideally, once the page has been refreshed, that should not be able to click. Or let me do this here. Let me refresh this before clicking on that element. Let me refresh. Let us run this. And then it will go back to the original page. Once again refreshes, right, and you are trying to click on that. Okay, you can see here you have found some exception, I feel. Right, the element reference is stale. In the sense, once the page has been refreshed, the element reference will be stale. In the sense, the reference whatever you have identified will be null. You will not have any element that will become a stale element. Right? So as per the definition, right, if you click on that and if it goes to the next, ideally once you go to the next page, then if you try to click on the same link, it should not. I'm coming back, so there the refresh will not happen. I'm just coming back to the page. Since the refresh is not happening there, it was giving me error. Since I have refreshed earlier before clicking, it has become stale element. So any doubts here in this link text?
No.
So that's clear, right? So there is one more thing, that is partial link text. I want you guys to try. Partial link text is nothing but in this page. Okay, so you take some partial value. If the the link has, you can see here, use google.com. Okay, you can just use google.com. Don't use you can just use google.com, and then it should be able to click on this element. Okay, or in privacy you can use priv. So that is called partial link text. If the link is very big, you can use only the first element or the last element or last keyword to click on that particular link. Okay, so that you can find some partial links here. You can see here 1 minute. You can see here more business products, right? More business products. You just pass products, it will be you are able to identify them. Okay, that is called partial link text. That is partial link text. So try to identify partial link text and try to identify with tag name. Tag name is nothing but, right, it can be body or it can be, you know, anchor tag, right? We will see. Otherwise don't use tag name. I have some other example for that. Just use link text and partial link text, and we have you know, the class name. Try to work with class name. Tomorrow we will see what is XPath and how to identify XPath and other things. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So any doubts, you can always ask me or you can email me. But I want you guys to practice these things and try to identify the element and store that in web element, and then you try to work on that. And I have shown you the stale element exception. Try to, you know, reproduce that exception, because even that is also sometimes you will encounter when you try to uh, you know, work on multiple elements in different pages. So you might encounter stale element exception. Try to, you know, reproduce that with different scenario also. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's all for the day, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.